All right, well, let's start lying flat on our backs then. And just stretch long, fingertips, toe tips, letting the back arch. You guys have a chance to sort of investigate or be aware of what's going on in the body for you so far today, but let's do that too in the reclining position. Bending the knees in towards the chest and rocking back and forth and drawing some circles with the knees. And I don't have any, well, as I was thinking about a theme or sort of an overarching topic or Dharma talk for this week, I was really just thinking about stretching, which of course is something that dancers do all the time, but I was thinking sort of fundamentally what is required for that to happen, and then what is the result. And as we're doing more and more sort of self-massage and self-stretching and can't really go get those professional services like we could before, I think it's really valuable, to have these tools of stretching and self-care, really self-care. We can't always have someone else do it for us. And also sort of related, I've been watching this hilarious show on Netflix, Space Force. Yes, so if you need a little comedy in your life, right, they're going into space, visiting the moon and whatnot. But it made me think about space travel again, which I haven't for actually a long time. And my point with this is, let's reach one leg long and hook the other one close to the chest while I ramble on, is how difficult it must be to stretch in space. You know, they have a hard time exercising. You have to be like tethered down to your treadmill and do all these weird adjustments in order to be able to exercise your muscles and keep your muscle tone. And it's because there's no gravity. So an essential piece of what we need is gravity and some sense of rootedness and groundedness. At least one point of us, so in this case, my whole left side, has to be a fixed point in order for me to then mobilize the right side and stretch it. And without that fixed point, without that gravity holding me down, it wouldn't be possible. So I thought we would take this visualization of one point being fixed and grounded and rooted, and then there being sort of a ray or a trajectory from there of the stretching part sort of reaching out in space as our visual. So I have this really stable part, and then from there I can extend one leg, or in the case of other parts, of course, that other part out from there sort of dynamically in one long energetic line. So we're getting a little mathy here. But let's extend the right leg or one leg above and reach the arms around, cross the hands wherever is suitable. And then enjoy the assistance of gravity, grounding, heart down, and then reaching long through the back of the right leg from that fixed point, sort of infinitely through space with the heel or with the foot. And circle the foot if that feels good. Start with our big muscle groups here, hamstrings. For me, this one I already feel in my lower back. The hips and lower back are so connected. And then, like I like to do, taking the right leg in the right hand and really grounding down on the left side as the right leg swings open gently to the side. And a long, endless diagonal. And then becoming aware of the breath. And with our next inhalation, we'll float that leg back up through the center. Switch hands, crossing the center line of the body and moving the stretch to the outer right hip. And then floating it right back to the center line. Bending that leg and sliding it gently along the floor. Join the other one. Stretch long. So here we have the 6 points of the center, sort of our very center of gravity, and raise direction out from the center point. Long, legs long. But always something that's stable and sort of fixed. So we'll identify that point of stability, and the left leg or the other leg will come up. And we'll give it some circles, some swivels. A little juicy hip ball and socket lubrication. And then when you're ready, unfolding. And you'll envision the right side being stable and rooted down into the floor, while the left leg reaches long, an infinite pathway into space. I actually have no desire to go into space, but it's a nice image. Earth is so inhabitable still. Enjoy the gravity and the oxygen. And we can circle out that foot, left ankle, right ankle. Of course, this is a personal practice, so you could take every single thing I say with a grain of salt, take it or leave it, modify it, do your own thing. Just use it as an inspiration for some completely other practice. I'm fine with all of that. But I'm going to open the left leg to the left now, gently reaching opposite my grounded right side. And let's float it back through the center line. On the next inhale, or whenever you're ready, cross the midline of the body. Oh, that one burns. And yes, move the stretch to the outer side of the left leg, reaching on a long, endless diagonal across us. what I also love about stretching is that there's a momentary discomfort, and of course we distinguish between this discomfort of stretching and real damaging pain. It's just discomfort. And then like taking a cold shower, which I've also been doing. We could talk about that another time. As soon as you stop the stretch, that discomfort is gone. Let's return to the center line. And then it's replaced with a feeling of being much better than we had before. And we'll bend that leg and send it out long. It's not super fun at the time sometimes until you grow to appreciate that sensation. But you can appreciate this longer lasting benefit. So I wasn't thinking about doing a standing eagle pose today. Let's go ahead and do a reclining eagle because I think that will be nice for all of our shoulders. And it's also really nice abdominal exercise. So starting with the hip stretch, actually, let's bend both legs, draw them in close, and then cross the right leg over for a figure four. So the right ankle over the left knee, and then thread the needle. One arm goes through the gap behind our right knee, and we can go around the back of the left thigh or clasp the hands around the shin, whatever is your preference. And have a couple of breaths here for our hip stretch. Reclining is nice because we have this big space that's rooted to the floor and then only a bit of mobility here in the legs. Right, outer hip in particular stretching. And one more cycle of breath. Shoulders are relaxed, everything nice and heavy. And then we'll release the hands and then cross the right thigh all the way across the left thigh. So we're stacking them on top of each other. And either there in our ladylike legs cross position, or possibly wrapping the right foot all the way around to wind around like a vine around that left leg. And then with the arms, we'll take the right arm underneath the left. So if I come into a ball, my right elbow and my right knee are going to contact each other, which is exactly what we'll do in a moment. So likewise on the top half, right arm is underneath the left elbow. The forearms come together, and either the backs of the hands can press together, or we can seek with the right hand to bring the palms together. And breathing here. We have only the fixed point of the spine and hips and ribs on the floor, and both arms and legs are free. And we'll reach in opposite diagonals now. Toes can come towards the floor or touch the floor. And arms reach up. Ooh, stretch between the shoulder blades. And then tiny bit of core here as well. We'll bring the elbows and knees towards each other. And if you like, the head and shoulders can come off the floor as well, if that feels good to you today. And then as we inhale, we expand like a flower, arms and legs reaching opposite directions, and then curl in together, arms, elbows, and knees. One more inhale to reach out, and one more exhale to contract, and then unwind. Arms and legs, we can check them out. Really free in the wrists and ankles. Let it be all loosey-goosey. Some pops and clicks coming out of the ankles and wrists. And then we'll take the other side. So in this case, I will take my figure four first, right. My left ankle over my right knee and reach through to thread the needle and clasp the hands behind the thigh or in front of the shin for our hip stretch first. Oh, yeah. So the breath also helps us here too. When I become aware of the inhale, connecting us even more with the floor, even more grounded, sort of rooting more of the back and spine onto the floor as the torso expands in all three dimensions with inhale. And then with the exhale, we elongate from that place deeper into the stretch. Almost imperceptibly sometimes, millimeter by millimeter, deeper into the stretch. Inhale, connecting to the floor. Exhale, drawing the thighs in towards us. One more breath cycle here. And then we'll release the hands, crossing the left thigh all the way over the top of the right, winding the feet, the left foot in particular, around the back of the right to the extent it wants to do that. And then left arm underneath right, entwining the arms. Drawing the shoulders back toward the floor and then the elbows up away from the floor. So there's another ray of energy reaching out there. And with our next inhale, we'll draw the legs and arms apart from each other, keeping the whole spine grounded. And exhale, elbows and knees draw together. Tiny little packet. And then expanding like a lightning bolt. You've got this zigzag going through the body. Long. And then tiny little ball. And then reaching out long. A little tremble is good. And exhale. And that was 3. We release. True confessions, that made me sore last week. 3 of those on each side. Something about the very top part of the abdominal muscles, apparently I haven't been working, and that does it. So once again, maybe you'll have that experience, maybe not, but I laughed. Doesn't seem like very much ab work, but I guess when it's very specific, that can actually be really effective for us. So next of all, let's see, let's come up to seated in the way that you want. So you can be really gentle and roll onto your side and then slowly walk the hands up, depending on how your spine is, or if you're feeling a little more free and a little bit more playful in your spine and things are doing okay, you could do a little rock and roll through the spine as well. Some days that works for me, some days not. So actually, this works really well for me when I have carpet underneath my mat. I can roll a little bit more freely. So I've been noticing that in my home practice. I love to rock and roll when I've got a little more cushion and not so much when it's hard. Okay, how about just a cross-legged position here? And in this stretch, we have both sit bones grounded into the floor or a little bit of cushioning underneath us, a folded blanket or something like that. So easy sit here. let's attend a bit more to the neck and shoulders here for a moment, and then we'll get the whole body going again. So sitting up super tall, long, we've got the fixed point in the hips, and then the ray coming up and out through the spine and the top of the head, out into space. And roll the shoulders up and back and down a couple times. So also the shoulder blades can become a part of that fixed point into the ground from which we reach. So they're connected into the spine, into the pelvis. Fix. And then we'll draw some really small circles with the nose at first. Not challenging the range of the motion of the neck yet. Just giving a little massage right where the top of the spine meets the skull. The atlas there. And if we can explore that really slowly and with some curiosity, we might notice some angles a little bit more free and others just a little sticky. And then with that awareness and very careful, gentle movement, we'll grow that circle a little by little. So it's really a spiral, starting really small. And then with curiosity and awareness, growing a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger. And one more or so in that direction. And then with that same curiosity, we'll go the other way. So again, starting small, again, a little tiny saucer of a plate size. And a little bit bigger. The axis of the top of the spine remaining pretty stable. And just moving our nice heavy skull on top of that. Once we've done approximately the same number of circles on this side, we'll slowly come to stillness. And let the head rest right at the top of the spine. In perfect balance. And let's move to the arms again. So hugging the right arm. Oh, maybe circling the right shoulder for a second and then hugging the right arm in. There was a sticky place. Dropping the shoulder down and then firmly hugging in the right bicep towards the chest. And again, as we breathe in, we feel very connected to the earth, to our fixed point. And as we breathe out, delving a little deeper into that stretch, sensing all the way from the sit bones, the connection through the spine into the shoulder blade, across the shoulder and the deltoid there, triceps, the forearm, and then shooting out the fingertips. That long, long line. Let's release that arm to the side, and then let the hand pet the head, pet the head, pet the back of the neck to whatever extent it can reach down the back, so somewhere along the head, neck, or shoulders. And then once that's as far as it can reach on its own, we'll bring the head again right on top of the spine, so not jutting the chin out in space or sort of deviating from our long vertical spine. We'll bring the right elbow over just a wee bit, so our arm maybe goes a little bit more behind the head. Oh my goodness. Envisioning the fixed point and then that long line of energy out, reaching out through the elbow here on a diagonal. And if you've got a little more stretch in there, would like a bit more, and you know it's in your practice, you can also release that hand and then bring the fingers to meet behind you. Or if you'd like to play with this, but the hands don't quite clasp, you can always grab onto a little towel, washcloth towel, yoga strap if you've got it, and play with this shape. So now we have a fixed point in between the shoulder blades, and we can reach both elbows out in space apart from each other, creating another diagonal line. And then you can always play here too. It can feel kind of good to take that whole shape over to the left, over to the right, draw some circles with the elbow. See what feels good for you as you like it. Of course, it works with the hand on the elbow too. And then release. Take the arms out. And then I'm going to switch both the legs and the hands, since I had one leg underneath and one leg sort of on top, just to keep crossing those brain hemispheres. Go ahead and switch the legs and also the arms. So when you're next ready, grounding the sit bones both down, shoulders down, left arm will come across, we'll hug back eye in towards the chest. And breathe in, connecting to the surface below. And breathe out, reaching from that place into our space. And then we'll release the left hand out to the side. Left hand will pet down the back of the head, neck, somewhere in between the shoulders. And go really long through the head, neck, and spine. Keeping the chin level, clasping over that top of that left elbow, and then gently drawing it in the direction of behind the head. So to the right. And then take your favorite variation, either here with the bend, circles, or hands clasping behind, or grabbing onto that towel or shirt or something behind us. Got the triceps stretching, but also perhaps the chest. Other parts of the shoulders. And as you tilt to one side or the other, or forward, or make some circles, Just noticing where we're grounded and where it's free to move. Where do you enjoy the stretch? Where is the body asking for a stretch? And then release when you're ready. Shake it out. Oh, wow. And we can also give the wrists, give the hands a bit of a massage. How about a little forearm stretch too while we're here? And while we're on our phones and computers more than ever, I'll reach the right arm forward, grounding down, drawing the fingers down towards the floor. And then flipping the palm over. So the underarm is now looking up. And again, drawing the fingers down towards the floor. And then release, other arm, left arm, reaching out in front, fingers down, pressing onto the top of the hand. And then we'll flip, arm over, palm up, and then reaching fingers down again. Release. Shake it out. Shake out the wrist. Keep the hands a little bit of a massage. There's a couple of others I like to do too. Yeah, let's actually come next onto all fours, hands and knees. And in this shape, the palms are flat, hands are wide, thumb and little finger and all the fingers have lots of space between them. We'll find the palms right underneath our shoulders, knees right underneath our hips. And for a moment, tucking the toes under and rocking back and forth to stretch the feet as well. Underside of the toes and arches, a bit in the ankles. And then you can keep the toes tucked under like that if you prefer, or bring the tops of the feet flat onto the floor. And as we are in front, we will do behind, toes spreading out. Feels strange to put weight onto the tops of the toes and feet here and try to spread them out, but we'll try to create that same sense of groundedness in the feet that we do with the hands. So there's 4 points of strong connection to the floor. Well, perhaps more. We've got knees, shins, and feet in the back, and then hands in the front. And then we'll take our cat-cow with an inhalation from those grounded points on the floor. Crown of the head and tail reaching up and away, and the front body relaxing, releasing down into that arch. Gently here, not forcing, just finding expansion. And then as we exhale, the belly button, so the very center of the back, the spine draws up and away, and everything else just falls down, head and tail falling towards the floor, hands and feet pressing, and the center of the back lifting up. Then follow your own breath speed, the cycles of the breath, inhaling to our cow, exhaling to our cat. And if you like, you can continue exactly in that way through several more cycles of breath, just going a little deeper into our awareness with each breath. Or you can adjust and bring it into a spiraling sort of cat-cow, where we also have this reach to the side, head and tail drawing together over the side and in the front, and then circling around. And switch directions whenever you like. That might feel good. And then you can continue in this way, or yet another variation. We can bring the big toes closer together and the knees wider, maybe mat wide or however wide you like, and then make even bigger spirals. So this is a cat-cow variation, but looks pretty different. Reaching forward and back in some big sweeping circles. Gets the hips a little bit more free. So I like this one in shoulders. Freestyle cat-cow. And then returning from whatever variation we have chosen, eventually to our neutral all fours tabletop type position. We're going to actually, let's reach the right leg long behind us. So, and then you can rock back and forth. This is another nice little foot and ankle stretch. Hands pressing, palms to earth, and left foot and leg to earth. And then we'll bring the right leg up behind us long. So planted fixed points are the hands and the shin, but then head and foot reach in opposite directions. So another beautiful long flat shape. And then we'll draw that knee in towards the nose, curl into a tight little ball there. Oh, that's a lower back stretch too. And then drawing head and foot away once again. And a little balance here, planting the right hand and left leg down. The left arm can float up and off if you like that feeling of length. And then, if you like, we'll reach the left arm up and open and bend the right leg, bringing either the hand into the arch or the outside of the foot or over the toes. It's really up to you. And then we have kind of it's a bit like dancer pose or archer pose, where head and foot are reaching apart in a long crescent moon shape. And we can adjust where the head is looking, go easy on the neck. Little balance here, core support, and then release, hand and knee back onto the floor. And wiggle it out if you like. And let's try that other side as we're ready. Actually, for a little rest off the wrist in between. Ooh, these are nice. If you don't like it, don't do it. But if you like it, you can flip one hand over so the palm is facing up. This is similar to our forearm stretch, but you can make it a little bit more intense by circling over the top, releasing in the wrist. And then we'll try the other one if that felt pretty good. Flip the hand over, plant the top of the hand onto the floor, and then circle. Pretty intense, but potentially good. Another nice one that, again, is similar to what we had done sitting, is to rotate the fingers out away from us, and then plant the hand and other fingers out away. And that can be a nice place also to circle a bit. Yeah. Okay, so that was our little hand break. And then we'll return them to normal. Also, if your wrists really bother you in this shape or any shape, keep in mind it makes a nice straight line through the hand and wrist to make a fist. So that's always an option when we're bearing weight on the palms of the hands. If the wrists are a little bit fussy, give that version a try. Otherwise, we'll reach the left leg long on the floor, behind us, rocking forward and back, giving a nice little calf stretch, foot stretch. And then lengthening it up into the air behind to our parallel arabesque. And with the next exhale, we'll draw the knee towards the nose, the forehead. Long lower back. And then reach head and tail in opposite directions once more. And then if you try this variation on the other side, let's give it a go on this side with the right arm reaching long away to the front. We'll look straight down to keep the back of the neck long. Left leg reaching long to the back. And then we'll open that right arm up towards the ceiling, maybe towards the foot behind us, grabbing where it seems suitable. Trying to keep that leg parallel in the back. We do have a pretty intense quad stretch here. And then drawing head and foot apart into what I'm envisioning is a beautiful crescent moon shape. And then let's release that as we're ready, back down onto the floor. And sit back for a moment. We'll rest our wrists this time in child's pose. Knees either close together or far apart, whichever is your preference. And again, arms can reach long in front or slide alongside the body. Child's pose is a wonderful stretch with the whole legs grounded down, head and arms, and then the breath creating more space in the spine. The ribs and the belly pressing into the thighs. And if it feels good, you can rock the head side to side here as well, giving the third eye And the forehead, a bit of a massage. Letting the space between the eyebrows be soft. And then with the next inhale, we'll bring ourselves back to our tabletop, all fours position. And we all wanted some shoulder stretches, so here's a couple more. Bringing the right hand slowly up with the left palm grounded. We can even paint that right hand along the left arm across the chest and then open it up towards the sky like a majestic wing above. And then fingertips first, peeling back down, threading the needle here underneath the elbow, and then resting the shoulder down onto the floor, maybe the side of the head and the ear as well. And for me, I need to adjust this angle a little bit with my kickstand arm. So I'm trying to keep my pelvis nice and flat and level in the back, but then twisting open in the chest up towards the sky. Bit of a shoulder stretch, but as we press through, we have a twist through the entire spine. Another breath cycle here, feeling the legs planted firmly onto the ground and reaching the spine long from that point. Shoulder across. And with the next inhale, I'm going to bring that, if I move that, bring that left hand back to the left shoulder, press into the floor there to open my wing once more to the ceiling and replace it down. Right hand directly underneath right shoulder, and we'll return the favor. So inhaling, drawing that left hand along the right arm across the chest, opening up towards the sky. And then feeding fingers first underneath, bringing the shoulder to the floor, head to the floor, adjusting our angle, and then breathing into that twist. And once again, planting the right hand under the shoulder and inhaling to come out, unfurling the left arm, and then replacing it onto the floor. Ooh, that was a lot of good shoulder action. There's another fun one, which if we would like a little bit more shoulder action, I guess we're not coming up to standing today. I did have a little bit of standing flow in mind, but I guess we'll save that for Thursday. That's okay. Sometimes we need to just stretch it out. Yeah, so the other shoulder stretch that I wanted to show is actually we're going to lay onto our belly. So let's slowly lower down. So we're all the way onto the belly. And again, take this if it's appropriate for you and leave it if it's not. But we're going to cross the arms over. So I'm going to thread the left arm under the right arm on top. They cross the body. I got some major cleavage right now. Cross the body, and then just hang out there. It's a little bit like our eagle arms, but just totally passive. And depending on our own body's geometry, this might feel amazing. It might be really weird. But if it's nice for you, enjoy. It's a little bit funny getting in and out, but we'll just bring our head up and then take one arm free and then the other arm free when we're ready, and have a little cobra moment here of length through the entire spine from our pelvis being planted. And then I'll take my other arm on the top. And if you like it, try this one. If you don't like it, you can just chill in child's pose or lay onto the belly. And let's come out of that one, yeah. One more nice long cobra, rippling up and then down. And then we'll end with some delicious twists. So I'm gonna roll, flip, swirl myself back onto the back. Yeah. I hope you're feeling as awesome as I'm feeling right now. Just totally useless. So, shaking out any effort that we might have expended, any energy we might have used, like a little duck in water, letting the pelvis and the head be free, everything just shaking out all this. And then happy baby, or whatever variation of that pose that you like. So reaching outside to the outside arch of the foot, or for some, they prefer the inner arch of the foot, or over the toes. Actually, it can feel nice to put the fingers in between the toes and stretching this way. So find what feels nice there for you. And then we'll feel length and groundedness through the whole spine. And then play like a baby, rocking back and forth. Makes a nice massage on the lower back and the hip and the shoulder potentially. You can also extend one leg out and then the other one, or both. Or just stay in place. And if we inhale, feeling length and width, and exhale, dropping into the stretch a little bit more. And then gently release the feet down to the floor with bent knees. And windshield wiper. Thighs and knees fall to one side and the other side. Either slow and controlled as you like. Noticing the changing stretch in the lower back, sacrum, inner and outer thighs. Or you can go a little bit more quickly and loosely if that feels good. It's all good. Then I have a couple twisting flavors here for us, and we'll have a moment in Shavasana as well. So you can pick your favorite reclining twists. So the classic will be to extend the left leg long on the floor and then bend the right knee and shift the hips a little bit to the right and twist there. One leg stretched, one leg bent. So that's a nice jumping off point. And maybe the perfect twist for you today, in which case enjoy. I like to give my lower back a little massage going into this. If it's feeling a little bit stuck, sometimes taking my left arm across and just combing out the muscles a little bit makes it a lot better for me. So, massage. So either hang out there as long as you like, or you'll also take the right leg over, but in our eagle legs. So a little bit more intense from this twisted shape. Again, we'll shift the hips before we twist, and then both legs will fall across. So yes, more intense of a twist. So don't overdo. But enjoy if that's the right one for you. Wherever you are, take a couple of breaths. I really like this one. There's a final variation if you would like. We also can come from both legs bent and then they fall over. That's not quite as twisty, but a bit more stretch for me, at least in the sacrum. And you just take the bottom leg foot, so in this case the left foot on top of the right leg, and there's a bit more length sort of through from the head to the knee. So they're all just a little bit different flavors. And it's nice when you have the time maybe to try a progression of them and feel in depth the differences. I'm gonna take my eagle though. Going back to my eagle, taking one more nice long breath cycle in this twist to the left. Center, unwind, untwist. Find our neutral, our center place. Great. The whole and return the favor on the other side. Both legs bent, or right leg straight and left leg comes over. Leg across the body towards the right. Naturally, the sides of the body are not the same, so we're just curious about, what's the situation on this side? What needs a little more attention, a little more loving? Or if that variation's not your cup of tea today, trying the one you prefer, either the eagle legs or the, in this case, both sides falling to the right and the right foot coming on top variation. And then savoring one more breath cycle in the twist. And then using the inhale to help us return to center. And then I'm sad because truly we're out of time and I have so many other yummy things I want to share. But next time, I'll reach fingers and toes. You can also do a little wiggle through the heels, bouncing, freeing up any places that might have been clenching or grabbing here at the end of our practice. I'd love to do a bridge pose too, but Thursday, next Tuesday. Always more yoga to do, but for today, for this particular practice, we're going to let it all go. Let the legs fall open as wide as you like, just so they can be super heavy on the floor. Feet fall open, arms likewise, as wide away from the body or as close to the body as you like. Adjusting. Making any little last fixes or changes, and then release it all. Let go of your rope. Just let the breath flow as it wants. Allowing the skin of the forehead, between the eyebrows, and in the area of the jaw to hang loose and free. My muscles sinking down into the earth. Everything perfectly supported by the surface beneath us. So of all effort, striving, improvement, from this very present, rooted, centered place, our limbs and our energy just naturally radiating out in all directions. So we might feel some warmth or temperature from the center. Notice the temperature of the air flowing around you. The border of the body extending out, a little bit blurring with the space around us. Feel expansive. And you're welcome to stay in this place if you've got the time. Don't feel any urgency. Jump up and greet me or move on to the next thing if you've got a moment. Just remain here and savor the stillness. And the subtle movements of the breath, the heartbeat. You are welcome if it is time for you to eat dinner or some other responsibility is calling, then gently release yourself from this place. You're smoothing the fingers and toes in the space. And then as slowly as you like, curling into a fetal position onto the floor, nice and heavy, knees curling into us. And then if you like, slowly walking ourselves up to a seat. Maybe you can take a moment in either Shavasana or here in a seated position to focus on the breath. And more than anything, acknowledge yourself for showing up here and practicing together. I hope sensing some connection with our larger community, dancers and wonderful people. And of course, acknowledge each other for showing up. Namaste. Thanks for being here with me. Feel free to remain as long as you can. Or, of course, listen to the body and see if there's any other stretches it's asking for. And be generous in providing that to yourself. Thanks so much.